Well, we are in the book of Ezekiel, and we are in chapters 38 and 39. Many Christians are startled to discover there are other chapters in Ezekiel too, but everybody knows about Ezekiel 38 and 39, and which is one reason we have such a packed house tonight, I guess. Okay. But in the outline of Ezekiel, the first three chapters are called the prophets. Then we had 24 through 24, God's judgment on Jerusalem. Then we had this interlude from 25 to 32, which is God's judgment on the surrounding nations, the Muslim nations. And that moved us into the upbeat part of the whole program, which is the restoration of the Jews.
China has thrown its weight behind efforts to broker a ceasefire between Iran and Israel. As the war intensifies, Beijing has vowed to play an active and constructive role, a move that signals a direct challenge to Western influence in the Middle East. Chinese President Xi Jinping issued a rare and strongly worded call to all sides in the conflict.
All parties should work to de-escalate the conflict as soon as possible and avoid further escalation of tensions. China stands ready to work with all parties to play a constructive role in restoring peace and stability in the Middle East. Israel's military actions against Iran have led to a sudden escalation of tensions in the Middle East, which deeply concerns China.
Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi has stepped into the eye of the storm, speaking with both Iranian and Israeli counterparts. In a striking shift, Beijing condemned Israeli airstrikes outright, calling them an unacceptable breach of international law. The Shanghai Cooperation Organization, which Iran joined just months ago, is now being positioned as a platform for de-escalation. Beijing's unique web of alliances raises the stakes. Iran leans heavily on China to survive crippling Western sanctions, while Israel is China's second-largest trade partner and a critical technology source. With tensions threatening the Strait of Hormuz, the artery for China's energy imports, Beijing's intervention is no longer about diplomacy alone. It's about protecting its own economic lifelines. In Beijing, the rhetoric sharpened further as the Chinese Foreign Ministry called out the global community.
The heating up of the Middle East region serves no one's interests. To fan up the flames, use threats, and exert pressure does not help de-escalate the situation and will only aggravate tensions and enlarge the conflict. China calls on relevant parties, especially countries with special influence on Israel, to take up their due responsibilities and take immediate actions to cool down the situation and prevent further spread of the conflict.
As the U.S. doubles down on military support to Israel, including the deployment of an aircraft carrier in the Gulf, China is moving in the opposite direction, positioning itself as the voice of restraint. From the UN Security Council to regional blocs, Beijing is pushing for dialogue, recasting itself as a potential power broker in a region long dominated by Washington.
Turkish President Erdogan has announced that Ankara is planning to increase its short and long-range missile stockpiles due to the latest developments in the Middle East. This was reported by the Bloomberg. The Turkish president mentioned that the country will have a defense capacity that no one will dare challenge. Erdogan has also criticized Israel for its recent attacks on Iran. He emphasized that Turkey is actively working to de-escalate tensions in the Israel-Iran conflict. Erdogan has long championed Turkey's efforts to develop an independent defense industry. Turkey, a long-term standing NATO member and regional military power, will face no difficulties in absorbing the technology into its armed forces. Turkey's defense industry is undergoing a quiet yet significant transformation with massive investments in the development of indigenous ballistic missiles. At the forefront of this initiative is Turkish defense firm Roketsan, serving as the primary contractor and lead integrator in an ambitious effort to position Turkey as a key player in military technology. Turkey's significant investment in ballistic missiles is not merely a technological endeavor. Ankara views it as a crucial step in bolstering its domestic defense industry, deterring potential threats, and strengthening its regional power projection. Turkey now has 5 defense firms in the top 100, marking its strong presence in the military-industrial complex. Turkey's defense industries and the increasing global acceptance of their products have resulted in many collateral benefits. It has consolidated President Erdogan's regime without any fear of a military challenge. The country is now pursuing a militarized foreign policy in its neighborhood and is managing flexible geopolitical alliances like Pakistan. This development comes after recent approval by the United States to sell advanced medium-range air-to-air missiles to Turkey for a deal value of $304 million. This had triggered serious concerns in India, as Pakistan would eventually emerge as one of the top buyers of the weaponry from Turkey. The deal included a wide range of support equipment alongside the missiles. Going forward, will Pakistan emerge as the prime client of the military-industrial complex of Turkey? Time will tell. But as of now, Turkish rising military-industrial complex does pose a significant challenge for India.